Hello, everybody. I'm going to get on here in a second. Wait for my Instagram to start up. It better start up. There we go. All right. All right. Let's get the right screen here. Randomness. That's my placard for the night. Welcome to Nightcap. Listen, tonight, the reason I posted that random ass image for my placard for the episode tonight is because I literally woke up from a power nap about 15 minutes ago. I'm not kidding. I know. You're like, what the fuck? So I'm just going to walk into what I'm going to talk about tonight, which is going to be me, since it's easy to talk about me. But I'm going to share some shit about it because I'm going to talk why that placard that I posted for this, which is, by the way, if you don't watch the video, every time I do a live, I post a little picture that kind of depicts what I'm going to talk about. And today's picture is the static white noise that you see on a television, because I looked for a picture to try to capture my mode, which is that staticky feeling that I get when I wake up and I have no idea where I'm at. So I'm going to wing it today. As I said before, wing it. I'm going to string something together. Yesterday I said I'm going to wing something together. I'm going to string something together, but I don't find it hard to talk about myself if I want to share something personal. So I figure, since I didn't prepare anything, I'm going to talk a little bit about myself and my quirks and help you understand why randomness actually captures me today and the state of the world that I'm in. So one of the things about me at the show, if you haven't watched before, I do a rant. I yell and scream about things that bother me, in particular politics, mostly because those are the things that bother me. I hate the fact that we are living in a system that's imperfect, and a lot of people take the brunt of that imperfect system. And what I mean by that is the distribution of goods, okay? Inequality, rich people taking things, wars that mean nothing to me here over in Pennsylvania, Lancaster. I don't understand how folks in the Middle East doing things affects me. I get the oil, but let's break it down to like what really matters to me. And why do I do this show? And why do I get up and yell and scream even when I have nothing to say? Why do I get on here? To be consistent, obviously. But the thing that gets me out of bed and makes me kind of continue this purpose is my, for whatever reason, hatred towards systems that oppress people that don't have a choice. I don't know what it is. It may have to do with the fact that I had a kind of fucked up, weird 0 to 5, perhaps. Maybe I have this survival mode or this kind of savior complex for people that are getting punched. And I don't know what it is, but there is something in me that makes it, when I look at something and I think that somebody's taking advantage of somebody else, I don't like it. Now you can say, well, Nate, what about your life? Have you ever taken advantage of people? Of course, I'm a human. I've done things that I'm not proud of. I've also taken advantage of situations that maybe I had a position of power and I didn't make the right decision and somebody else got screwed. I've been in positions of power. So that happens when you're in a position of power, right? And I hate it. And I don't mind being in positions of power. I hate being a part of a system where when you are a position of power, you're automatically oppressing people. Okay. What do I mean? I've never been a dictator. So Nate, what the fuck are you talking about acting like you oppress people? Part of what got me out of my shell into this was seeing that we're electing a buffoon, somebody who doesn't care about people. There's nothing in him that cares about another individual. And that also is kind of a hard thing for me to swallow, to elevate somebody to a position where they have that much power over other people and they don't give a shit. So part of what motivated me to do this and start yelling and screaming is that kind of core piece that's in me. I'm not trying to hero my shit either, by the way. You know, this sounds kind of very lofty and why you should watch me because I have these things that I do. And no, that's not it. I'm totally fucked up and flawed. If you know me personally, you know I'm a weird wacko. that's not very good in social situations. Also, I've had a sordid past where I really didn't give a shit about anything up until probably my late 30s. So really didn't have much of a moral compass other than I never hurt other people. But I always hated the fact that, so of course I've done things I'm not proud of, and I'm not sitting here on a pedestal. This isn't a fucking church. This isn't, I'm not coming to make you feel shame or make you repent for not being as good as me or awful as me, whatever it is. It's just subject matter, by the way. But I feel it's important for people to understand, like, all right, Nate, you're going to fucking do this for the rest of your life or whatever you say or whatever your plan is. Why? What are you going to do when you oversleep 15 minutes, 3 days in a row? No, I'm kidding. You're not going to have content. You can't talk about yourself every time. But no, listen, this is proof that even under duress, I can find some fucking content. You may not like it. You'll be like, what the fuck is this? I came to see you rant and yell and scream. I didn't come to see you do monologues or soliloquies is my favorite word from Shakespeare. These rants are what I come for. I'm not coming to hear you wax poetic about yourself and tell me about your feelings. I want to see anger. Just kidding. But I felt like when I was putting this episode together with all the planning that I did prior to, right after 15 minutes before it went on, I felt that staticky randomness. And I thought, well, maybe I'll try to explain to folks kind of what motivates me and what pushes me through those static, boring moments. And then talk about maybe the direction of where we want to go and why the fuck, what's the end game? What's the end game of all this? Right? It's those days where you're like, what the fuck am I doing it for? Like, I got to remind myself of why I did it in the first place. What is it? Is it just a vent? Is it just so Nate gets his, kicks out of seeing himself on camera, which, by the way, I do not like. People think this is out of vanity. I don't like listening or watching myself on camera. I would love to hire an editor to do all this shit because my voice comes out. I hope it sounds good when I do it. Obviously, I'm trying to improve my delivery, but this is not a vanity project. I hate looking at myself. I listen to myself because I hear my quirks and I pick apart what I'm saying, but I'm not doing it because I think, oh, wow, the world should see more of me because of this gorgeous face and these, this articulate, eloquent language that I use. I don't think that. I really don't. I know that's not what I think is my talent. I would say my talent would be to be able to make content out of nothing. I mean, I can talk about something for hours for whatever reason, and not because I prefer to hear myself talk, but truly processing real time as I'm talking. It's almost better if I could talk things through. Everything would be okay. I would just talk my way through the problems in my brain. Whatever I'm talking about would eventually manifest into something. So this is not a vanity project for whatever you think, whatever you fucking think of me and all the things that horrible things you may have heard, which are very, very, very few and far between. I'm doing this because it is good for me mentally to have an outlet to watch the chaos that I think is chaos and have some way of expressing it. So there is a me component. But I do this because the frustration is that I'm in a position where I can say something, and I do. And it's not, no, this isn't a valiant effort. I don't believe I'd love to think the world's going to change if I have enough viewers and listeners, but I want to kind of take a position of humility and help you understand, like, this is meaningful to me in more ways than just the vanity part. I do envision a place where you have the ability to kind of help people learn or shape ideas and thoughts and be a part of the conversation. That would be fantastic, because I think we can all look around and appreciate the fact that no matter what your situation is, there's some way that it could be improved. No matter what it is. Even if you're a rich person, there's some way where your situation be improved. Most likely, if we improve the situation of other people, it's going to bring you more karmic energy, if you will. But the driver of this is eventually to be able to have a voice. And I use Rush Limbaugh as my kind of holding in high esteem, because there was a point where Rush was so powerful. And again, I'm going to say powerful. It's not, I'm not power hungry, but there's a power in knowing that you have that much influence. And of course, it almost felt like folks were coming to him. Again, you can say whatever you want to say about my vision, but they were coming and they were looking at getting that approval. Now, do I think that I'm so paternal that I'm the arbiter of what is good and bad and I want to be where people kiss my ring? Kind of. Kind of. I'm not going to bullshit you. Kind of. There is kind of like a little tiny piece of maybe the Solomon complex that I might have. I'm going to call it the Solomon complex for all my Lancaster County conservative people that go to church and know who Solomon is. Solomon, for those heathens out there, was David's son, and he was bequeathed the most knowledge and the most wisdom of every man on earth. He was given the option to, by God, because God favored him, because he favored David, even though David was banging Babylon. What's her name? Delilah? Was it Delilah? Wait, I named my queen. I named my dog Delilah, but is David? No, Bathsheba. Bathsheba, right? I think it was Bathsheba. So David went and did some stuff with Bathsheba, and then he had a son. I think that was the son, Solomon. And God came and said, Solomon, I favor you. I favor your dad, even with his adultery. I love him so much. He's so good to me. I'm going to give you anything in the world. And Solomon could have had anything in the world because God spoke to him, direct line. Boom. Yo, bro, I love your dad. I love what he's doing. Let's give you some fucking gifts. So Solomon could have asked for anything. And of course, he asked for wisdom. And then God said, you know what? Since you're so humble, since you're such a badass, I didn't know you were going to, you totally tricked me. I thought you were going to ask for riches and women and everything else. And you asked for wisdom. So instead of that, I'm going to give you all the women and all the riches in the world. So you didn't even ask for it. But I know you're a dude. You're going to want some concubines. Hey. So I'm going to give them to you. And on top of that, I'm going to make you the richest person that ever lived, apparently. So apparently Solomon was super rich and he was super wise. And the Solomon complex is in reference to his great wisdom. And so there is one vanity point I'm declaring. I'm saying, yes, I would prefer my wisdom be the arbiter of good. How awful does that sound? Narcissistic motherfucker. So I'm calling it not a narcissist complex, not a fucking bullshit sociopath. I'm saying it's called the Solomon complex. I have the Solomon complex. I believe that when put, I'm kind of like the Michael Jordan of basketball. Like I know this is going to seem fucked up, but I want to take the last shot. You know what? If there has to be an arbiter of what's right or wrong and no one else will do it, I'll fucking do it. I will be that person. I don't know what that makes me. I don't know what it makes me. I really don't. But I have just coined it now. You've watched me do it on air. I'm calling it the Solomon complex. Yes, it sounds vain, but it's that, you know what? I just think that I'd rather trust the wisdom that I have over the fucking crazy that I see. All right. Now we can dive into the psychology of that and what that means for Nate and my journey, which I'm in therapy, by the way, folks, not afraid to say it. I'm therapized monthly, maybe sometimes twice monthly. I wax out my ears, clean out my head. But I believe that this complex comes from my frustration at watching complete idiots do idiot things. And one of the things I would say in my world, if I'm going to go into Trump world, I'm going to be this kind of, I can save you, which again, I'm not really this person, but I'm doing it for effect. If you're going to be that person, you got to have the confidence that you're going to do it. And you got to ignore what everyone else says. And part of it comes from just the PTSD of watching other people fuck up and not trusting that people are going to do the right thing. And like I said, I would be a benevolent dictator, if you want to call that, I would think. You know, if I'm the arbiter of wisdom, I'm going to try to be nice. I don't have any weird proclivities to watch somebody suffer. So I think I'd be a good Solomon. All right. I would make sure the baby doesn't really get cut in half. If you don't want to know what that reference is, I will inform you again of another story of Solomon, the great wise one, was brought a baby, and two women were complaining and fighting over the baby, and one of them was claiming it was hers and the other was claiming it was hers. And so they brought the baby to Solomon, and Solomon said, you know what, I don't know whose it is. I wasn't there when you guys were pumping this thing out. Go get me a sword and I will cut the baby in half, and the baby can then be split, and you can have one half and you can have the other. Well, one woman was like, that sounds fantastic. And the other woman was like, oh, hell no, we're not cutting this baby in half. And Solomon said, you know what? This baby's yours, because this woman was ready to throw her and cut the baby in half. So it can't be her baby. All right. That's another little parable or story that's in the Bible about Solomon and his wisdom. So I hold Solomon, of all the characters that are in the Bible, probably Solomon is one of my favorite. Also, he wrote Song of Solomon, which, if you know me, it's the love story. So he's just writing poems and love because he's in love with women. So he's we definitely maybe perhaps have that in common. My appreciation for women, let's just say that, which isn't a secret. Even my wife knows that. All right. Anyway, but I told you I was going to overshare something, and that's not a surprise. By the way, that doesn't mean I look at them as objects or anything like that. It just means that, I tend to appreciate their beauty maybe more than others, and not in a weird, kinky way. So get off it. I've said too much. So what motivates me to keep doing this is not the oversharing, not watching these videos and cringing that I said something stupid, or that I can't back up, or I can't believe I said that shit, or even getting off on how many likes or comments you get on something. There's none of that. If I could just go right to where I'd like to be, it would be to have folks listening and thinking about these things in ways that we don't today. That's it. Rip it off. I'm not talking about burning the place down. I'm talking about really rethinking, like, how do we create a system that's sustainable? And I use the vision that I think is maybe held in high esteem in my mind, is that Star Trek version where everyone does their own thing, they do their own religion, but everyone's kind of looked at as an equal opportunity, and there is no one race. There's no trying to move these people here. We're respecting cultures. We're respecting that difference. We appreciate the difference. We embellish, or we embrace different religions. I know I that sounds Star Trek-y. Why I say that is because if you watch Star Trek, those type of things are kind of put aside, I would argue, and they kind of look at society as everyone should deserve these things, these basic resources. We don't go and fuck around with shit. We don't fuck up other countries. We're trying to just discover new areas and go where no man's gone before. It has kind of a utopian viewpoint of humanity that shows you a possibility that may exist in our future, where religion's not a key component, or what someone looks like or whatever will affect kind of their status or where they are in the world. I know I'm extracting a lot of meaning from Star Trek, but I think that was a pretty progressive show in the fact that they pushed a lot of boundaries. They were obviously one of the first shows to show on TV a black man or a white man kissing a black woman. So, it has my support in knowing that fact alone. I think it pushed boundaries in that regard, which seems to be important for me as a brown person. If you're listening to this, by the way, you don't know, I am a brown person, so I'm sharing that tidbit. If you've been listening thinking, wow, gee, this is really swell. I know I got that accent, and I didn't grow up and get the urban sly of things, if you will. But I am that person. So my experience and why I do this is also unique in that regard, because I feel like I grew up in a way that allows me to hear the locker room talk of folks that are racist, as well as the language that they use, and then also be the recipient of certain things that happen that change my experience. I know people get tired of me making the argument that I have to deal with kind of racial issues, but even with some of my privilege, which I guarantee I'm accepting that I have because of I was born in the genetic lottery of the United States. I have privilege no matter what. Even with that, I have an experience that I feel is unique and that I have been able to bring some experience that maybe will help other people to see a compassionate light. I think that I've experienced a lot of pain from my own doing. And through that pain, I realized being down and out, I realized what it feels like when you don't have anyone to kind of pick you up. I've had people, I've talked about being plucked out of homelessness. So I've had lucky and privilege. I think part of the underlying core of why I do this is because I do believe that this is it. I don't believe there's more after this. I think you're dead, you're dead. And so it saddens me to think that you're only a little on this little stint of you're on this planet for a small amount of time and you don't really get to fulfill yourself. And maybe the only amount of time that you're on this planet is a horrible, pain-filled void, which other humans, if we really cared about that experience, we would do something about. Now, is it possible that because so many humans believe in the afterlife that we really don't give a shit enough about people on this one? That we're thinking, you know what, fuck it, they'll get better off on the second round? Is that where we're at? Because if we really did believe that this was the end of your life and there was nothing else, maybe there'd be a different motivation to fix some of these problems that we know are fucking systemic, and perhaps they don't affect us, but they affect everyone else. I don't know. These are the weird things that keep me up at night, that make me sleep in the afternoon, and fall asleep at weird times. I mean, I guess I fell asleep at a normal time. It's just I do this show, and so it was weird. And I had an interview today. I had some work this morning that I had to do for a big meeting tomorrow, and then I just crashed. It's weird. So if you don't know, I have ADHD. I take medicine. I try not to take the medicine all the time because it's weird. Caffeine is weird to me. Okay, I want caffeine just like you want caffeine, but I'll take caffeine and then boom, I crash. I want a line of Coke just like you want a line of Coke, but when I do a line of Coke, I fucking fall asleep. It sucks. Okay, true story. No, I don't want a line of Coke now, unless it's really good and you can get here in the next 20 minutes. Jokes aside, I started this episode because I didn't know what to say, and I wanted to talk about myself because it's random, and I can always find interesting things that I think are interesting to say about myself. Did I pull it off? I don't know. Is this a podcast about nothing today? Is this the Jerry Seinfeld of podcasts? Perhaps. But I posted a placard that symbolized the randomness of today's episode, so I think I get a check mark for that. I also shared some tidbits about my crazy brain. Maybe you learned something about that. Maybe you realized that the person you're watching isn't really full of hatred, or they hate Democrats or Republicans and all the problems that I have with white supremacy that exists. Maybe he's not just pure angry. Maybe there's a humanity to me. But then you watch this again and you're like, what the fuck was he talking about Solomon for? And this vanity of being this wise one that's the arbiter of truth. I don't know if I can get off that pedestal, I'll be honest with you. There are a lot of advantages. I don't want money. I just want the ability, like Michael Jordan, to shoot the last shot. I'm okay if the pressure's on and I have to make a decision whether to cut the baby. I'm your guy. I will do it. Why do I say that? Because I don't trust the adults. The adults that are running around, have allowed us to grow up in this crazy system without complaining, acting as if this is the best we can do. That probably is the biggest motivator for this show. Is this the best we can do, for Christ's sake? What the fuck? It's pathetic to think this is the best we can do. We do all kinds of cool ass shit, but we can't create a better global, and I'm saying global, don't all you fucking religious people, don't lose your shit. I don't care about the global world order bullshit. I don't give a fuck. I just want a whole global humanity network, let's call it, where we give a shit about all the humans on the planet. And we look at making sure all the humans on the planet that want to can step out of whatever situation they're in and thrive. That would be kind of a really awesome motivator instead of how much shit can I get, right? Isn't it how much shit can I get? And now it's like, how much shit can I get and how much shit can I post on internet? Like, I got some new shit. Let me post it on internet. I fucking just ate a meal. Let me post it. Look at my food I'm eating and let me post it. Come on. So at least you got to give me credit. If you hate this show and you're not really into it and you're like, what the fuck? And you tuned in, look, I'm not posting pictures of my fucking food. Okay. I'm not even posting pictures of my vacations or even my personal life. You don't really give a fuck. And you don't give a fuck about the shit I'm saying now either. But at least it's more interesting than just me posting pictures of my fucking food. And at least, you know, when you come to Nate's feed, you're at least going to get some version of him, and it's going to be as authentic as that moment for him. I don't know. Should I have smoked before I got on? I don't know, but I feel like today's episode, since I didn't have a lot of planned, it's important for me to wrap up and put everything together. Is there anything coherent that someone could get? Could you recommend listening to this to somebody, or is it like, yo, listen to that episode? It's got a weird image that represents white noise TV. I don't know. The topic of this episode is he says some crazy shit about Solomon, and then it sounds like he just wants to hear his voice. I don't know. I don't know if you recommend this episode. It's not one of my best because, again, I hate waking up 15 minutes beforehand and having to say something. But if I look at the time, I've done so for 26 minutes. I've completely got on here and talked about nothing and probably have no viewers for it. So let's add some spice so that somebody that listens the whole way gets a little tidbit. I had a couple episodes recently where I talked about Trump and I talked about fairness. I also talked about kind of where I see Joe Biden, Trump in the grand scheme of things. I am truly confident that Trump is going to be the president of the United States in November. I don't like to say that, but I know that it's true because I see the young people, I see the excitement, I see the Democrats just shitting the bed on foreign policy. And so if you've watched this far, I will say this. That is probably the thing that keeps me up night more than anything, is the idea that we're going to lose this country. And I believe that as somebody who is in a demographic which Trump has kind of looked down on all his life, it's a scary time, in my opinion. And I look at I feel just like I did in 2020, where I have to go and buy a gun and do all these things because of what's going to happen. So if you made it this far, I'm dropping a little bit of truth bomb on you that it makes me very nervous where we're going in November. And I hope and pray, if that's a thing that I would do in some crazy alternate universe, there's nothing wrong with prayer. But I would hope and pray in this fantasy world of me praying, again, there's nothing wrong with prayer, that America sees the light and we can actually kind of hold him to account in that role. I just don't think that Joe Biden's going to win. I think that Trump is going to win. And I think that we're really going to be leaning heavily, and this is the scary part, on the grown white man, the Republicans, to keep him in check. And we can see already the male fragility that exists in that party right now, of kind of going there, with their mouth open, ready to fillet the president while he's getting convicted. I mean, that's what we've got right now. So there's no strong men in the room. There's no one out there that's challenging the concept of Trump. There's no one out there on the Republican Party that's even looks like a leader. I mean, Mitch is over there just, man, look at you guys. But he's kind of just flaccid over there. I mean, he's not doing anything. He's not doing any excitement. So that alone keeps me doing this. It keeps me doing this because do I think I'm going to change the world? No, but I've got to have an outlet to talk about what I really fear. And that's, putting someone in power that's going to completely twist up the power structures that we have. They're not friendly already, but if you got somebody pushing on those levers and really crushing those people at the bottom, that's not good. And I don't see Trump doing anything less. So that's what'll keep me motivated. I will also say this for future reference, if you listen this long. I take ideas. I love ideas. I used to have a couple people. One of them passed away. The other person is no longer my friend because they got mad because I said some things that pissed them off. But it was nice because my inbox was full of ideas and it was really nice. And I'll be honest with you, having that person leave my sphere. I miss you, Ricky. I'm going to say your name. I miss you. I miss having your inbox. If you listen for some reason, I'm giving you a shout out. Open your kimono back up to me. You are my secret sauce. And now you're gone. But I'm putting that out there for everyone else. If you have a topic, and I know, Chloe, you have a topic that I'm still working on that you want me to talk about in relation to drugs and alcohol and that journey. So I will pick on that. I've just not done that one because I want to put that one together tighter because of my affiliation with that world. But I do like ideas. So, for nights like tonight where I don't have a lot of content, I know I've got to check a box, and it's awful for my viewers because it looks like I'm phoning it in, but I'm not. Still giving you some spice. It's nice to fall back to my inbox and see those ideas because those are ideas coming from you. Those are things that people want to hear about. So last night's viewer's choice was about Trump. I don't know if I nailed it. I got no response I got a like from the person that requested it. So maybe they enjoyed it. I don't care, but it was nice. I do appreciate talking about things that you want to hear, and I will talk about anything because that's kind of what my gift is, apparently. So please inbox me. Make sure you comment. Make sure you like. I'm going to wrap today's kind of ad hoc episode with some good news. Again, still growing. I laid off the gas on the spamming. Facebook won't let me comment like I used to because comments, by the way, are how you grow your reach. So that's why I ask you to make comments. Comments are good for business. Okay. Comments. Just put a little emoji and a frowny face if you don't like it. But that comment pulls other people. When you make a comment, other people see the comment, and that's how the network effect works. So I appreciate the comments. I will comment on your stuff, comment away. But I will say that even with Facebook's restrictions that they've said I'm gaming the system, all I'm doing is following the system the way they said to do it. I'm just really good at it, apparently. I decided to pull back on that spam, and I'm going to allow the nature to take its course. And so I'm going to do less of my forced comment, even though it works. It's great, by the way. I see people biting off it. It's good. Comment on people's stories. If you like that person, comment. If you don't like them, don't comment. So now no one's going to comment on my stuff. But seriously, if you are mad at somebody and you post an angry comment underneath them, it's good for that person. I could nurture anger and get a lot of engagement. That's one way, and that's a method that people do on me all the time. Like, they trigger me all the time. I fucking hate it. I give them a free comment. Truth aside, though, I want to wrap with good news. Things are still good and very good and kind of scary good, even after hours. I did do another interview today. My video fucking sucked, but it was with Matt Blank, local comedian, local up-and-comer guy. He's working the scene. He's kind of the scene, as I like to call it, even though he doesn't want to say that. But had an interview with him today. It was awesome. It was in the middle of my day, in the middle of his day. It was the only time we could find time. And I'll probably clean that up and restream it just because my side didn't turn out so well. But this whole new venture is taking off. It's going well. It's because of you. I want to say thank you. Again, you're not seeing me on Time Magazine at this time, and I don't have the amount of followers or YouTube followers that I need to grow this to be something that I could live on. But it's a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying it, and I really appreciate the feedback I'm getting. And so I want to say thank you. It's nothing but good news every day. I know it sounds like a broken record, but the truth is the growth that I'm having, most people would pay lots of money to have that growth on a business. So I'm happy for it. It's because of you guys, and I hope that I'm contributing a little bit by putting out the content, but I can't do this on my own. It's one of those things that I rely on other people to engage, to share, to talk about what I'm doing. And whether you like it or not, this is what I'm going to be doing more and more of. And my goal is to not get worse, get better. And so I appreciate the support. This is our second round at this, and I think that we have better momentum this time. And I'm happy. Even today, when I woke up a little late and didn't have an opportunity to whip something together, it's no fear to get on the mic and make sure that I'm engaging you guys and hopefully putting something out there that brightens your day or makes you smile or maybe incites a riot in your head. I don't know, but that's the goal. Want to say thank you. Make sure you check me out tomorrow at 10:30. Go check out the interview I had with Matt Blank. I've got 2 interviews coming up this week. Matt Blank, and I have another interview. I'm going to save the person I'm interviewing. That's going to happen Saturday night. This person reached out to me. They're a local And I'm excited. I don't know much about this person, so it's gonna be one of those interviews that I'm gonna try to pick this person's brain. And I don't want to make them feel attacked. I want to be open and have a really good conversation and want them to be want them to come on again. But this is this is not somebody in my network. It's somebody that reached out to me that I'm going out and interviewing. So it's going to be a little different than some of the other interviews I had. But if you haven't checked out After Hours, go follow it, go subscribe. Look, I've got 48 people on fucking YouTube. Can you get me to 50? 50 subscribers. I know I have 5,000 people on Facebook that follow me. Maybe they don't give a shit. Maybe they have me on mute. Out of 5,000, can I get 2 people? Can I get 2 people to just hit subscribe on Smashing the Party on YouTube? Just hit it. Just do it. Just fucking do it. Get me to 50 and I'll shut up about YouTube for a while. Okay? I can't do anything with it until it's 1,000. So you know I got a long way. I'm begging for 50. I think I got 1 new subscriber since I started this lately. So it's hard. It's hard on YouTube because when you're a subscriber, I guess that's like fucking cha-ching. I don't know. Can you unsubscribe from somebody? Is it possible? Would you? Who knows? All right, folks. I'm not going to rant anymore. That's all I got. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Sorry that I kind of woke up 15 minutes beforehand and wasn't able to kind of crank something awesome together. But I checked the box. You know I'm here to stay. We nailed it. We haven't missed a beat since we started back in April. We're going to continue on Monday through Friday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I get on here. I talk about shit. You never know I'm going to go. I might drop some F-bombs. Make sure you check it out. 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Smashing the Party. You can find me on TikTok, LinkedIn, believe it or not, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, even Discord, even Reddit. We've got our own Reddit. So if you're really adventurous, you can find me on Reddit and join that. My own R Smashing the Party. Yeah, I did that a while ago. So keep supporting, keep liking, keep commenting, keep sharing it. Please enjoy. Go back and watch some old videos. If you got bored tonight, there's definitely some spicy ones on YouTube that you can follow and find. So I ask you to do that. With that being said, we're going to wrap. Thanks for checking in. We will be back tomorrow at 10:30. We will wake up at least 15 minutes, maybe 25 minutes before the show to make sure we're on point. We'll go from there. That's all I got, folks. Let's do our little fist bump.